You a dark, sick person, man. You know that? You're a dark, sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. Y'all could depart. Some of you have been covering me for 3.5 years. Some of you are so sick and dark, and you're the leader of that. You're one of the most dark writers that I've ever seen in this city. And your personal sick vendetta and the sickness of how you think of over-sexualizing a black man, that in the book is stated that there was a sexual action in Borough Hall. That was never in the book. But that's typical of the sickness and the darkness of your sick mind. You're one of the sickest reporters I know.
The New York Times is now reporting that New York City Mayor Eric Adams has just been indicted tonight by federal prosecutors. It's still under seal as of this hour, so we're still waiting on a lot of the details here. But this comes as there has been a flood of resignations in his administration. And, of course, we have seen several of them embroiled in investigations from his administration. The phones seized by several of them, including the police commissioner, the school chancellor, the deputy mayor, several officials in his administration. This has all been going on as today we saw Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the most prominent voices in the Democratic Party, who doesn't often get involved in the politics of New York City on the local level, calling for Adams to resign, saying she did not see how he could continue to govern the city. He responded to that by saying that he had not faced any charges yet. Of course, now tonight we see that he has been indicted.
Tonight here in New York City, the political scandal erupting. New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges. This is the first time ever a sitting mayor of New York has been criminally charged. He's accused of taking illegal campaign contributions and luxury gifts. Mayor Adams defiant tonight, saying he is innocent and a victim. He claims he's being targeted for speaking out about the surge of migrants in the city. And tonight the mayor is insisting he will not resign. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, tonight.
Tonight, something never before seen in the history of America's largest city. The sitting mayor of New York, Eric Adams, indicted, charged with bribery and fraud, accused of accepting more than $100,000 in gifts and illegal campaign contributions from Turkey.
Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him.
Federal agents arriving at Gracie Mansion, the mayor's official residence, before dawn, seizing his cell phone. Prosecutors say Adams engaged in a years-long conspiracy to solicit illegal foreign campaign contributions from Turkey. And they portray a mayor who traded the tough city streets of Brooklyn for a globe-trotting life of luxury, accepting more than $100,000 worth of gifts from Turkey in exchange for official favors. Prosecutors say Turkish officials plied Adams with business-class travel and stays in high-end hotel suites.
Year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them.
According to the indictment, when the mayor's staff member once asked a Turkish Airlines official where Adams could stay while visiting Turkey, the official replied, 4 seasons. It's too expensive, the staffer responded. What does he care, said the official. He's not going to pay. His name will not be on anything either. The mayor's staffer replied, super. Prosecutors charged that in 2021, Turkey asked Adams to return the favor and use his political influence to pressure the fire department to open the new Turkish consulate in Manhattan.
Some of the people at FDNY thought the building had so many issues and defects that the building was not safe to occupy. So the Turkish official sent word to Adams that it was, quote, his turn, unquote, to support Turkey. And as we allege, Adams delivered and pressured the fire department to let the building open.
Tonight, Adams proclaiming his innocence and portraying himself as a victim, saying he's being targeted because he spoke up about the influx of migrants in New York City.
I think we should ask the federal investigators and prosecutors who gave the directive to take the actions that we are witnessing right now.
But U.S. Attorney Damian Williams says politics had nothing to do with it.
We are not focused on the right or the left. We are focused only on right and wrong.
Adams now facing multiple calls to resign, but he says he's going nowhere.
Who's going to deal with the business of running the city? The point person is Eric Adams. I'm the mayor of the city of New York.
The mayor is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. David, you heard him say he is not going to resign. The governor does have the power to oust him from office. She has not said, though, tonight whether she would use that power. If the mayor does go, who might replace him? Sources tell us, David, one person interested in the job, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. He resigned his office after a sexual harassment scandal. David?
Aaron Katersky on all of this tonight. Aaron, thank you.
Count one, conspiracy to commit wire fraud and receive campaign contributions from foreign nationals. Another count, count two, wire fraud. Count three against the mayor, solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national. That is count three. Count four, a similar count of that. Count five charges Mayor Adams with bribery.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target, and a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago, just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit. If I'm charged, I know I am innocent. I will request an immediate trials so the New Yorkers can hear the truth. New Yorkers know my story. They know where I come from. I have been fighting injustice my entire life. That fight has continued as your mayor. Despite our pleas, when the federal government did nothing as its broken immigration policies overloaded our shelter system with no relief, I put the people of New York before party and politics. Now, if I am charged, many may say I should resign because I cannot manage the city while fighting the case. I can also understand how everyday New Yorkers will be concerned that I cannot do my job while I face accusation. But I have been facing these lies for months since I began to speak out for all of you and their investigation started. Yet the city has continued to improve. Make no mistake, you elected me to lead this city, and lead it I will. I humbly ask for your prayers and your patience as we see this through. God bless you, and God bless the city of New York.
The New York headline can make and break a man overnight. Mayor Eric Adams stopped before the press, not to celebrate, but to defend a lifetime of public service. For 40 years, he stood for the people. Yes, in an instant, the headline turned against him. This is the story of how Eric Adams faced the storm and walked out acquitted.
Mayor Eric Adams will stand trial on federal corruption charges starting April 21st, 2025, a setback for sure in his bid for re-election. The mayor appeared in court today to face a 5-count indictment alleging he accepted years of luxury travel gifts in exchange for helping the Turkish consulate in Manhattan. His lawyers arguing during the hearing that a bribery charge should be dropped. The judge refused that. The mayor has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams' indictment has been unsealed. I'm going to read you the whole thing. Let's get into it. I'm Eliza Orlins, career public defender here in Manhattan for the last 15 years, and I'm probably not going to post every single page here because it is 57 pages long, but let's see how much we can get through. So this is United States District Court in the Southern District of New York versus Eric Adams, defendant, sealed indictment, 24 Crim 556. Overview 1. In 2014, Eric Adams, the defendant, became Brooklyn Borough president. Thereafter, for nearly a decade, Adams sought and accepted improper, valuable benefits, such as luxury international travel, including from wealthy foreign business people and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him. By 2018, Adams, who had by then made known his plans to run for mayor of New York City, not only accepted, but sought illegal campaign contributions to his 2021 mayoral campaign, as well as other things of value from foreign nationals. As Adams' prominence and power grew, his foreign national benefactors sought to cash in on their corrupt relationships with him, particularly when, in 2021, it became clear that Adams would become New York City's mayor. Adams agreed, providing favorable treatment in exchange for the illicit benefits he received. After his inauguration as mayor of New York City, Adams soon began preparing for his next election, including by planning to solicit more illegal contributions and granting requests from those who supported his 2021 mayoral campaign with such donations. Eric Adams, the defendant, sought and accepted illegal campaign contributions in the form of nominee or straw contributions, meaning that the true contributors conveyed their money through nominal donors who falsely certified they were contributing their own money. By smuggling their contributions to Adams through US-based straw donors, Adams' overseas contributors defeated federal laws that serve to prevent foreign influence on US elections. Wealthy individuals evaded laws designed to limit their power over elected officials by restricting the amount any one person can donate to a candidate. And businesses circumvented New York City's ban on corporate contributions by funneling their donations through multiple employees, frustrating a law that seeks to reduce corporate power in politics. Adams increased his fundraising by accepting these concealed illegal donations at the cost of giving his secret patrons the undue influence over him that the law tries to prevent. Eric Adams, the defendant, compounded his gains from the straw contributions by using them to defraud New York City and steal public funds. New York City has a matching funds program that matches small dollar contributions from individual city residents with up to 8 times their amount in public funds to give New Yorkers a greater voice in elections. Adams' campaigns applied for matching funds based on known straw donations, fraudulently obtaining as much as $2,000 in public funds for each illegal contribution. Adams and those working at his direction falsely certified compliance with applicable campaign finance regulations, despite Adams's repeated acceptance of straw donations, relying on the concealed nature of these illegal contributions to falsely portray his campaign as law-abiding. As a result of those false certifications, Adams' 2021 mayoral campaign received more than $10 million in public funds. Eric Adams, the defendant, also sought and received other improper benefits from some of the same co-conspirators who funneled straw donations to his campaigns. In particular, a senior official in the Turkish diplomatic establishment, the Turkish official, who facilitated many straw donations to Adams, also arranged for Adams and his companions to receive free or discounted travel on Turkey's national airline, the Turkish airline, which is owned in significant part by the Turkish government, to destinations including France, China, Sri Lanka, India, Hungary, and Turkey itself. The Turkish official and the other Turkish nationals further arranged for Adams and his companions to receive, among other things, free rooms at opulent hotels, free meals at high-end restaurants, and free luxurious entertainment while in Turkey. Eric Adams, the defendant, and others working at his direction repeatedly took steps to shield his solicitation and acceptance of these benefits from public scrutiny. Adams did not disclose the travel benefits he had obtained in annual financial disclosures he was required to file as a New York City employee. Sometimes Adams agreed to pay a nominal fee to create the appearance of having paid for travel that was in fact heavily discounted. Other times, Adams created and instructed others to create fake paper trails, falsely suggesting that he had paid or planned to pay for travel benefits that were actually free. And Adams deleted messages with others involved in his misconduct, including, in one instance, assuring a co-conspirator in writing that he always deleted her messages. In September 2021, the Turkish official told Eric Adams, the defendant, that it was his turn to repay the Turkish official by pressuring the New York City Fire Department, FDNY, to facilitate the opening of a new Turkish consular building, a 36-story skyscraper, without fire inspection, in time for a high-profile visit by Turkey's president. At the time, the building would have failed an FDNY inspection in exchange for free travel and other travel-related bribes in 2021 and 2022, arranged by the Turkish official. Adams did as instructed. Because of Adams's pressure on the FDNY official responsible for the FDNY's assessment of the skyscraper's fire safety was told that he would lose his job if he failed to acquiesce. And after Adams intervened, the skyscraper opened as requested by the Turkish official. New York City's public matching funds program. The New York City Campaign Finance Board, CFB, oversees and administers a publicly funded campaign finance system for municipal elections in New York City, including a matching funds program, the matching funds program, that provides eligible candidates with public funds to match small dollar contributions for New York City residents, matching funds. The matching funds program is intended to incentivize candidates to finance their campaigns by engaging with average New Yorkers instead of seeking large contributions from a limited number of influential donors, and to empower more candidates to run for office even without access to wealth. For mayoral candidates in the 2021 and 2025 election cycles, the matching funds program operated as relevant here in the following manner. A, candidates that collected a minimum number of contributions and raised a minimum amount of qualifying contributions from New York City residents were eligible to opt into the matching funds program. Candidates that opted into the matching funds program were required to file a signed and notarized certification attesting, among other things, that they understood they were responsible for reading, understanding, and complying with and ensuring their campaign's compliance with various statutes and rules, that submitting fraudulent claims for matching funds or otherwise furnishing false information to the CFB would constitute a fundamental breach of the obligations affirmed as part of the certification, and that in the event of such a breach, they would be ineligible to receive additional matching funds and would be required to return all matching funds previously received. The matching funds program would provide up to $8 in matching fund for each $1 of eligible contributions, up to $250 from New York City residents. In other words, for each eligible contribution of at least $250, a participating candidate could collect up to $2,000 in matching funds. The matching funds program would provide up to $12,952,888 in matching funds for qualifying mayoral candidates during the primary and general elections in the 2021 cycle, and up to $14,101,334 in matching funds for qualifying mayoral candidates during the primary and general elections in the 2025 cycle. Certain kinds of contributions were prohibited entirely, including straw contributions, contributions from a person who was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States, contributions from foreign entities and organizations, contributions from corporations, contributions that were made, received, solicited, or otherwise obtained in violation of any local, state, or federal law. Through its campaign finance handbook, the CFB informed candidates and their campaign staff that straw contributions were not only prohibited, but also illegal. Candidates that opted into the matching funds program were required to regularly submit to the CFB disclosure statements that, among other things, identified all contributions received during a particular reporting period, regardless of whether those contributions were eligible for matching funds. These disclosure statements were required to be submitted electronically by either the candidate or the campaign's treasurer using a unique login. In order to submit a disclosure statement, the filer was required to identify him or herself as either the candidate or the treasurer, electronically sign a verification stating this disclosure statement is true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and I understand that by clicking verify below, I am electronically signing my disclosure statement, which will have the same validity and effect as a signature affixed by hand. Eric Adams, the defendant, was aware that the law prohibited foreign, conduit, and corporate contributions. At least as early as 2018, Adams began raising money to fund his first mayoral campaign, the 2021 campaign. In September 2019, Adams submitted the required certification to opt into the matching funds program. During the 2021 election cycle, Adams and persons acting at his direction regularly submitted and signed disclosure statements attesting to the veracity of the information being provided to the CFB. Adams won his party's primary election in July 2021 and was elected mayor in November 2021. While serving as mayor, Adams again opted into the matching funds program and began fundraising for his 2025 campaign, continuing at least to the date of this indictment.
This is Eric Adams, ex-cop and current mayor of New York City. He was accused of bribery involving the Turkish Airlines. Though the case was dismissed with no conviction, he did not gain the Democratic nomination, but he's not dropping out.
Mayor Eric Adams stood before the cameras. It wasn't just another press briefing. It was a moment that would define his legacy. For months, the media ran with headlines that painted him as a man falling from grace. Stories spread fast, judgment even faster. But through the noise, Eric Adams stood firm, a man who has given 4 decades of his life to serve New Yorkers. He reminded the city of who he truly was, a former police officer, a reformer, and a leader who rose from Brooklyn Street to City Hall. Yet, In the court of public opinion, headlines speak louder than truth. The narrative was written long before the verdict even came. Then came the turning point. In a powerful declaration of justice, Mayor Eric Adams was discharged and acquitted of all 5 count charges. The courtroom fell silent. The same media that rushed to accuse now struggled to report his redemption. For Adams, it wasn't just a legal victory. It was a proof that integrity, though tested, can still triumph. Standing before the press once more, he said they tried to erase 40 years of service with 40 days of lies. The truth has finally been spoken. His word carried beyond City Hall, echoing across community that knew his story long before the headline did. In the end, Eric Adams reminded us all that leadership is not about perfection, but perseverance. In a time when information moves faster than truth, his story stands as a warning and a lesson. But in this city, where every headline hits like hammer, reputation can fall in seconds, but real character endures. This has been Find the Dotz Documentary. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that look beyond the headline. What do you think? Was Mayor Eric Adams a victim of media judgment? Or just another chapter in New York's politics storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.